So I recently had the privilege to go to Magfest, and it is honestly one of my favorite cons in the area. Um, Both for just the vibes, but also the accessibility. Um, Magfest is definitely one of the more disability-friendly cons that I've been to, and it seems like every year they just keep getting better. And honestly, I love it. Especially now that I have a service dog, like their accessibility department has been super kind, and they have a couple features that I wanted to talk about because I've never seen them at any other con. I don't know if it's normal at other cons, but this was my first time experiencing them at MagFest, and they were really great. So the first one would be they had mobility aid loaners that if you like were traveling and you didn't want to bring yours, or like if you traveled and you forgot like your cane or something, you can literally borrow a cane or a wheelchair from them. And it was great because the first day I did not have my cane, and then I started to feel a little wibbly wobbly and can just get a cane on loan. And they had multiple types. They had your standard foldable collapsible canes. They had some straight normal ones, and then they also had cane, the chair cane, and I was like, that's freaking amazing. As well as the collapsible stool. They have those for line waiting as well for loans, and honestly, that was amazing. And along with that, they also have like one of the accessibility traits that I thought was really good, especially as a diabetic who is currently having my sugars drop a lot, is that if you're in an area that you're normally not allowed to eat in, that you are because it's medically needed. That was great. And also, they tried to enforce elevator priority, which was great. If you ever gone to con waiting for an elevator, or sometimes having people jump in front of you even though you were already there waiting, that was really great, especially in the more high trafficked areas where you could pick up an elevator. They tried to be mindful of that. Um, the other thing was, I love that they always have a quiet room, and the quiet room is usually pretty standard. And considering it's a music and gaming con, like the fact that it is actually a quiet room for the most part is really great. And they had games, puzzles, fidgets, some coloring sheets and stuff. And then they also have their inclusion and diversity room, which is, I believe is a different department from their accessibility department, but also a very great room to go visit. They had amazing books to share there, and um, just overall a nice room to be in to just vibe. It's quiet, it's away from some of the hecticness of the con, and also some of the books that they were featuring and the zines were just about diversity and inclusion, and just a great vibe. And they also had Thursday night, the Rebecca Sugar concert. They had a watch party there in the inclusion room, which was sensory friendly and everything. And that was just the great way that I was able to enjoy the concert. Even though I could have like went to the concert as a ADA person, I just knew it was going to be crowded, and it would have, even with line help and stuff, I just was like, let's just do sensory friendly. I'm already overloaded. And the fact that that option was there for a main stage performance was perfect. And like, we got to watch the concert, experience it with other nerds in a smaller environment, and literally when Estelle came out, like the whole room erupted in cheers, because like I had a feeling it was gonna happen, but seeing it happen, and then also seeing a whole room of like other neurodiverse nerds just like cheering because Garnet's there. I mean, I'm sure in the bigger concert space that was a big moment too, but it was nice to like have a small moment with other nerds in a smaller environment that's a little bit more less anxiety inducing, which I love because anxiety is one of my things, unfortunately. But overall, I will say on my list of cons that have really great accessibility, Magfest is definitely in the top five, probably the top three. Um, Currently, I'm going to try to start charting the accessibility of cons as I get to go to them, both as just a normal con goer and a staffer. Um, but yeah, we hope to document this a little more. Also, the fact that for accessibility in the main concert space, they had risers that you could sit, like, with seats on the risers, seats to the left of the stage if you wanted to sit close up, and then also a seating area a little further back so that you can still not be like right by the speakers and stuff, but you're still within the space and you have a line of sight. I need concerts to consider some of these things for accessibility because I've been at concerts and they put ADA seating somewhere like behind a pillar or to the side, but like the view, there's no actual view of the stage, or you're right next to a speaker, and even though if you have visuals, like you are literally right next to the speaker, even with earplugs, it feels kind of like a last thought. And I feel like accessibility shouldn't be a last thought for, especially for people who are going to concerts. Like most of us either save a lot of money to try to go to these little shows and have these moments of joy, and sometimes unfortunately they end up falling short, or we just have to like tough it out and then suffer for it later because it was a lot of stuff that put our body into overload. So just a mindful thing to think of. And also their med team had like Tylenol and stuff like that in case you forgot it or you just needed it for an emergency. And also earplugs were everywhere, like free earplugs just in the quiet room, outside of the concert venues, like perfect, really great, very mindful, very demure. Loved it. But yeah, Magfest, keep doing what you're doing because honestly, from my first Magfest to now and how my disability has progressed, I honestly can say you guys have only gotten better, and I'm grateful. And I can't wait to see what happens next year. And here's V because he's just been on my lap this entire time.